Good morning and welcome to the Elevate Renatus team call. This is your host, Keely Austin. Today is Takeoff Tuesday. I'm excited and honored to be here. As of right now, we have 66 participants on the line. Make sure that you reach out to your team. We don't want any ICMs left behind. And of course, when you sign on new ICMs, make sure that they're set up with the text reminders for these calls each morning. These are such a great way to start out your day. Bill is an incredible individual, and we're very fortunate to get to learn from him. He has been in this business for around 10, maybe 12 years, and to be able to learn from somebody who's been doing this for so long is absolutely an awesome thing. He has a lot of experience, and he's doing this full time. He's been doing both the marketing and the real estate sides of things. And I believe in December, he had a $74,000 a month on the marketing side alone. He is someone who I really look up to in more ways than just business. And I just love Bill. We've gotten to know each other over the last few years up here in Scottsdale. So just some of Bill's history before we get started. Bill was a pro skier for 10 years in Vail, Colorado, and realized he was not qualified to do much else. He then got into the franchising, and he bought a couple of stores, and due to lack of knowledge, that ended up costing him the business, and he ended up losing everything. In 2007, he heard about real estate investing, and he attempted to do real estate investing on his own without education, and ended up upside down in over $400,000 during the 2008 crash. He then found Renatus, and in his first year alone, he made 8 times more than he did the previous year as a loan officer. Ever since then, Bill has completed over, I have 130 deals written down here, but I think it's closer to 150 now. And he has grossed multiple 7 figures in real estate. He's a marketing leader and a PIT team member, meaning he's in training to be on the President's Advisory Council board. Or not board, but the council. And again, we're very fortunate to get to learn from Bill today. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Keely. How does it sound?
Good morning, you sound good.
Oh, well, that's good news. I'm up on video, so
Okay.
that way, whoops, I don't know what just happened there. Right on. Perfect. So, man, these calls are super cool. Welcome, everybody. Keely, thanks for the invitation. Thanks for the introduction. Thanks for the work that you do to put these together with all of the cool songs and the Bob Snyder, generally speakings, and just tying it all together. You know, you've really done an amazing job. And I know we've had hosts in the past, but I'm a little biased, but you are my favorite, and I really appreciate it. And it's a good to connect with you every morning. So thank you. Awesome. Great work. All right. Well, here we go. Tuesday morning. Michael Huggins had a great combo yesterday. So let's pick it up. I know we talked the last couple of weeks about follow up a little bit. I'm going to dive into a couple things. I'll type in my cell phone number. So those of you who are new, if you don't have it, 760-533-3141. Welcome to the call. That's my number, 760-533-3141, excuse me. And, you know, like I said, for many of you that do reach out to me, sometimes I don't get right to it and it gets buried. So if I didn't get back to you within a day, then definitely reach out to me again or call me or text me twice or whatever. But anyway, awesome. Thanks, Keely. Cool. So let's see. If you have, I'm looking at my notes. If you have anything that you want to discuss, then, you know, obviously feel free to do so. Chat it in the chat room. We can go off on a tangent. And then of course, you can come off mute and interrupt me. It's totally cool. It's really for you guys. And I'm sure that whatever it is that you are feeling or want to talk about, or would like me to discuss, or just even briefly give you an opinion on, or some of my experience, then of course, most likely someone else is, in fact, I would guarantee that other people have had the same thoughts and experiences and would like some insight. So with that, I'll talk a little bit to that. Number one is, I'm not sure, and I've been telling this to my team and my Scottsdale team as well, is that, a lot of you are on this call. I would guess that most of you are going to nationals, and that's cool. And obviously, so for those of you who aren't enrolled in nationals yet, sign up for nationals, paid for nationals, committed to nationals. Then, for that, and also for those of you who have, this isn't just for you, but, there's a lot of people that we know that in our day-to-day operations that we met through Renatus. Okay. So keep this in mind all the time when you're doing trainings. It's hard for us most of the time we focus on ourselves, which is cool, which is human nature. We have to help ourselves first. But in addition, one of the things you can do is, if you've connected with somebody in Renatus and in your group, in your community, and you have not seen them in a while or talked to them in a while, or and I don't care whose team they're on, like if they're not on your team or they're not on your 5 stars team or whatever it is, but they're just someone that nice, Doug, perfect, I'm in section B. Reach out to them and, inspire them to get on a call or a training or come to a Thursday night or come to a Super Saturday or, ask them if they're going to nationals. But maybe, friends help friends all the time, and we're all friends and family. So, some of the folks that aren't on this call, maybe get them on the call once in a while and see if, send them the link, text them the information, and remind them that it's there, or the Thursday night. So, as I talk to the nationals and stuff like that, if you're already registered, then obviously it's going to fall on deaf ears, because it's like, no kidding, Bill, we already know this, but maybe spread the word to some other people that aren't on this call that don't know this. But, nationals is going to be, obviously it's exciting. I mean, every year it's a big deal. Every year Bob pulls out all the stops for that year. I think, from what I understand, for what the privileged information I was given, as well, and everything that Bob's been even announcing. I mean, the 2 keynote speakers and the massive training that we're going to do, the Helios opportunity, all of these different things that are coming out. It's going to be the best nationals I can imagine that I've been to since I've been back with Renatus, and so I'm excited about that. But all of that is great. I think there's a great opportunity that's going to be there, as you've heard, as well. But on top of that, I'll tell you this, and I'll get into some training, but I want to think about there's no question, you guys, that it's not just as easy as signing up for nationals, right? It's not just as easy as enrolling a student. It's not just as easy as, making a call. And I don't know that it ever changes. I can't speak for the top 10 income earners, because I'm not in the top 10 income earners, right? I can't speak for any of the PAC members. I'm not on the PAC. There are times, like since my $74,000 month in December, I have not funded a full combo yet, right? So it's almost going on 2 months. Now I have $100,000+ pipeline of some pretty interested people, and some people that are qualified and people that are looking for the money. But I will tell you that it's never easy. It never gets any easier. But if it did, we would call it an easy system, but we call it a simple system. The conviction is there. Like for me, well, I should go out and get another deal because, I know I can make money there, right? There's well, I think I'll try to wholesale a deal, make 10,000 so I can pay my bills, right? Like what I'm getting at is, and those are exaggerated points, is that for me in nationals, for me in this business, as of 4 years ago, it just is what it is, no matter what the result. Right? So there's not like a plan B. There's not a second choice. There's not another option. The only option is to improve on what I'm doing or do more of what I'm doing or stay consistent or all of the above, right? So like with Michael's training yesterday, it's just a matter of, you know, I was thinking about it this morning. You know, Michael has spent, I don't spend a lot of time on teaching personal development necessarily. I mean, maybe in a roundabout way, but you know, Michael does that quite a bit, and Wanda does it a little bit. So so we have a diverse team of training, and you know, I like to talk about the how and the what and the in the trenches type of work that I do. And of course, Michael does that too. So I'm not taking that away from him. Don't get me wrong. All I'm saying is that, you know, it goes without saying that I've had to work on myself for a long time. When Kevin was training last night on our team call, you know, he talked about multitasking. I mean, that is something that I have been doing for a long time, and it's never effective, right? I mean, I may feel like it is, and I may feel like I'm good at it, but you know, the bottom line is you have to commit to one thing at a time. And whatever it is, if it's your job and you're at your job, I mean, you know, we need to commit to the job. We can't be thinking about Renatus and thinking about who we're going to call and making more money and all those things. I mean, we need to focus on what we're doing there. Then when the time comes for a break, then you can eliminate the job and you can go on to what it is you're thinking of. And you guys get this. So my whole point to this is, in this little tangent, is that, you know, for Renatus, for the actual going to the nationals, you know, it's tough. It's tough for some people financially. It's tough for some people with work. It's tough for some people with their families. But I got to tell you, it shouldn't be. And what I mean by that is we've got to rethink where we're at with our Renatus business. You guys are spending the time on this call, and this goes for the people. Like I said, if you can spread this word, is that, you know, it's never tough for us to go to a work or a business. Like, let's just say you own Play It Again Sports, right? It is never hard for me to make sure that my doors were open on a Saturday or Sunday, right? So what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is there's never a decision. If I'm on the golf course, right, and I get a call, literally, this happened multiple occasions, and I am literally playing golf on Sunday with my group. I belong to the Escondido Country Club, and I'm playing golf, and I get a call from a client, from people. Bill, there's a line at the door. No one's opened the door. It's 10:30. We open at 10, right? There's never a question on whether or not I drive to the store and open it, right? Like, there's never a thought of whether or not I should call somebody up and see if they're coming in. There's never a thought of whether or not I should go and maybe help out until someone gets there. It's just what I do. It's my business. So I immediately get off the golf course and I go to the store and I open it up. And I call anybody and everybody I can to see if they can get there before me on my way over. And then I don't go back to the course. I stay and I work because I lost money that morning and I got to make up for it, right? And then I look possibly for a new employee. But you guys understand what I'm saying. Like, it's never a problem for you. It's never a second thought when it comes to the most important things in your life. So if your job requires you to work on a day where you have an anniversary or you have a, you have a birthday, you may consider calling in sick. You may consider taking the day off, but most of the time, the benefit of making money and the consequence of getting caught may or may not stop you from doing that. And you end up going to work anyway, right? You end up going to pick up your kid, right? Like, imagine if you have kids. I imagine the majority of you do, right? But for me, I have dogs. And it's not a matter of, we're having fun. We're out at the bar, the casino, or whatever, and I think we'll just stay overnight. You know, we'll get the dogs in the morning. They're going to be fine. Like if I didn't plan for the dogs, I'm not doing that. I'm not staying somewhere for overnight and not letting them out for 8-10 hours and not going home to feed them. Like, you just do what it is that you have to do because that's what you do. That's who you are. That's who you've become. That's what you chose to do a long time ago. You guys get what I'm saying? And I'm not going to labor this point anymore. The national is that. The national is who you are. The national is who you want to become. The national is your business. It's your family. It's your livelihood. It's what you desire. So, you know, I would guess that 99.9% of us on this call, at some point, whether it's time-wise or financially, if we wanted something bad enough and we needed it and we chose it, we get it, right? There's no way that some of us have not jeopardized our financial being, even me back in the day, when if I had a trip to Vegas to go with my buddies at my 20s when I had no money, if I had to get some medical bill paid or go to the doctor or whatever it was, or if you had to put some tires on your car or get your car fixed or whatever, you were resourceful enough to get to work. You figured it out. You had to get your kids picked up at school. You had to figure something out. We're humans. We have full capability of doing all these things. If you put the same intention and the same value on the Renatus business and the national, you will get there. $357 maybe seem like a monumental amount of money, but you'll figure it out and you will make it work, and you will find the time and you will find the funds and you will take the risk and put yourself a little bit behind in order to make that happen. That's my point on this, you guys. I'm going to talk about nationals till nationals come, just like everybody else. Nationals is a big deal, and this nationals is going to be the biggest deal. And, you know, I got to tell you, I don't care if the greatest compensation plan comes out. I don't care if like a multi-level marketing, network marketing, short-term rental company comes out. I don't care if like jet airplanes, you could get your own jet if you could sell a network. I don't care what it is. I'm never going. I'm never even looking. I'm not interested in anything else until I build this business to the ability for me to, you know, be a Scott Rowe for lack of a better example, right? There's never another opportunity that I'm going to look for, is my conviction to this business. And I think that's part of the 4 core beliefs. And it's difficult to sometimes overcome some objections when you don't have that belief, right? And if you're new, I get it. But it's easy to then have objections, you know, work with people that you expect to have a sale, have someone show up, have someone that shows up, is interested, any of those 4 steps along the way, and something doesn't go your way, and your expectation doesn't get met on making a commission, on enrolling a student and building your business, whether it's from a response in your ad all the way up to someone coming through with the funding. It's going to happen. It's going to happen all the time, and you will see it and you will feel it. I don't care what level your business is at. And then you will have an opportunity at that time to reconsider, to reevaluate, and to second guess. And I think for those of us who have built this business to the point where we've gotten to the point where there isn't a second guess. Like I don't, like Michael said yesterday, I don't ever blame, I don't ever, and I used to, I don't ever reconsider the business, my efforts, whether or not I should be doing this every Saturday, whether or not it's never that. You know what I consider? What did I do? What questions did I ask? How didn't I overcome that objection? Like I look at me and I go, there's an issue. Like where was my value? Where was my desire? Where was my, you know, did I care enough about the person? And then I go back at it, right? So anyway, that's my little tangent. I'm gonna go this route, you guys. Let's see. I'll talk a little about funding. I think we were going to talk about that. And I just wanted to tell you, and it's not always what I wanted, but I felt like I like to speak from experience and speak from what I'm going through, and or not what I'm going through, but what I experience myself, and then what I feel all the time, right? So like, just so you guys understand the different progressions, if you will, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense. So so remember, if you guys have anything that you want to chat about, if you want to me to talk about, or if you have something that you're working on, Dane Clark, mentions this all the time. We've both been kind of doing this. Feel free to chat it up. So I had a really awesome experience in Pittsburgh this weekend. I was out there for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday doing some one-on-ones, doing an intro and building that community again with my buddy out there. We had a pretty decent turnout with some pretty solid people. We have 6 follow-ups this week with the people from Pittsburgh. And I feel like 4 of them are really super hot potential prospects that are going to join our team and enroll in the education sooner than later, and help us build for the next event out there. So that was really cool. And a lot of it, I'll tell you, it's rarely ever anything but funding. So yesterday I did a ride along with a couple firefighter guys. It's super cool when this thing builds, you guys. Wait till what you see is going to happen. I enrolled a guy named Ron. Ron's a friend of mine. I've known him for a while. And Ron was getting 5-star qualified last year and enrolled a couple named Jim and Carrie. And Jim and Carrie are awesome. In their first year, they've done 3 buy and holds. They're on their 3rd flip, I think. They also bought an assisted living. They're on their 3rd or 4th flip. They made 22 grand on their first flip. They bought one property. One of their buy and holds had $40,000 of equity in it, and they were building and flipping and spec homing back in the boom, and hadn't done a deal in 8 years. And in their first year in Renatus, they killed it. They're 5-star qualified. They've got their first full combo underneath their belt, their first full team member, and they enrolled a guy on their 5-star qualifying little path, a guy named Adam, who's one of Jim's good friends in IT. And Adam, we get on the phone with Adam quite a bit. I do, and then Jim's his friend, so Jim's always talking to him. Adam was an investor with Jim on a couple deals with some passive income money that he had, and so Jim was exposing Adam to Renatus, and it was at least 6, almost maybe 8 months that we worked on Adam, and Adam enrolled in the full combo in December. And he has not, I don't think, been to an event since. Now he and I have had a couple one-on-ones. We've looked at the path in our time over the phone, and then we scheduled a one-on-one. But he met this guy in a parking lot who builds websites, and I'm telling you guys, it's just amazing. And he was just talking about Renatus. He hasn't been to an event. He's an ICM. He understands the marketing, so he's not afraid of it, but he's not sitting there training every day. He's just talking about what he's doing. And it turns out this guy that has this side business building websites, and Adam's an IT guy, they go drive together and call on these couple of businesses for their own business, their side IT business, right? This web business. They're each 2 different separate business owners. So they get to know each other in the car, and Adam's talking about real estate. And the guy's like, yeah, I'm into real estate. I'm a firefighter and I do this business on the side, but I'm getting into real estate. One of my captains is way into real estate. So they hit it up. So we are scheduled for a one-on-one, me and Adam, to work on his path and his plan for the next education and moving forward and everything like that, because he's already enrolled. And he's like, hey, can I bring this guy? And we'll do a one-on-one with him. So this guy hadn't seen a single event, and I do a one-on-one with him. It was incredible, over 2 hours. Then he wants to introduce me to his captain, who's interested in that, and he wants to partner with his captain. So we get on a Zoom one-on-one. That was like a week ago. And then yesterday I did a ride along with them. And they went to 2 of my properties, and we sat down and did a little bit of a follow-up, and they love it. I mean, we didn't place their order, a ghost order this time. Probably do it on Friday. Greg, his captain, is going to come on Thursday night to the event because Greg has not seen a single intro yet. However, they are super stoked. They're ready to go. So remember, Ron, then Jim, then Adam, then Scott, and Scott may even enroll his captain, Greg. So five people deep, right? I'm above them. It's pretty amazing what happens. So the cool thing is what I'm getting at is on my training here is the funding, right? These guys have the money. Scott's already into a 5-plex he's invested in. He understands the mindset these two have is phenomenal. They understand they have been screwed their whole lives, get good grades, get a good job with a pension, and they don't make crap. I made more in December than they make in an entire year. And when I went over that with them yesterday in one of the houses that I'm flipping, it was embarrassing for me. I wasn't embarrassed, but you know what I'm saying? I felt bad because it's not right. It's not fair. And there's a reason, there's a need for what Bob has created, you guys. Do you follow me on this? Like it's insane. And that's flat out right there. We're in the house and the captain of the fire department who puts his life on the line is like, wow, that's more than I make in an entire year. Right. And I'm like, anything's possible, man. You got to be in the right environment. And they're thinking of bringing their fellow firefighters along, but they know their firefighters' mindset. And fortunately, at some point, they looked reality and they looked themselves in the mirror and said, you know, this is broken. I've got to fix it. If it's up to me, it's up to me. You've heard Bob Snyder say that a lot, right? So we get done with the ride along. We go to another property of mine, went to 2 properties and did a follow-up. So we were there a good 2.5 hours again that I spent. I mean, it's worth it for me, this time frame. I'm building a relationship and you know, they're pretty educated, you guys. Like they understand wholesaling. And even since they had never heard of Subject 2, and I told them my Subject 2 story a couple weeks ago about how the guy paid me to take his house. And the guy they went out and studied Subject 2. They're like, I feel like I could do it. It's on YouTube. And they said, you know, we're pretty good. We're doing this with or without you, Bill. They had questions, you guys. They had objections. They understand the value, but you know, they don't know that spending $20,000 is worth not teaching themselves. And they're like, we're pretty good. Like we've got 5 years left each. They're under their 5-year cap and they're going to retire. And this is going to be a full-time gig for them. And they want to have ducks in a row and properties under belt and paying down mortgage. And I brought up Velocity Banking and Scott even said, he's like, yeah, as a side gig, like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, he's like, I actually used to sell a product that taught using lines of credit. And he told me the company was like Life Financial or something like that. And then they went out of business because I can't remember if it was like the 90s or something. And the HELOCs kind of went away for a minute. But anyway, he was familiar with the concept, very familiar with how it works. And so there was a lot of things that I was bringing up that that I had to overcome, right? That I had to tell stories with. Like, even for someone, like I'm showing them a property that has, I'm not going to jinx it, whatever, over a 6-figure profit, right? My other one has a $50,000 profit in it that I took them to. And they're questioning the value of the education and whether or not they need to purchase it, right? And right, you're right, Cecilia. And they weren't questioning whether or not Renatus is good, you guys. They were just questioning whether or not they needed to purchase it because they've already started doing it and they're self-educating and they're doing pretty well. Like he gets it. And I said, well, I started to think about the difference between me, Renatus, and what Renatus offers. And I said, and I asked the question, what is missing? Like, what are you looking for? And they're like, well, we're looking to network, right? We want to, we've got to be able to raise a little money. We want to be more aware of what to be researching on, right? And so, of course, naturally, I go to the community stories, and especially these two specific deals came directly from the community. They the deal was founded by a community member. The deal was funded by community members, and the deal is being managed by me, of course. And then the whole entire thing is based on a community deal. And I explained to them, and then I asked them, what do you think, or do you see how it's possible that the 20,000 is absolutely minuscule? In fact, it's almost non-existent. And we were up in the loft in the second story, and they're like, yeah. I'm like, to be honest, Bob could sell it for 100,000, but he won't, because not enough people can get in and afford it, and they won't come up with the money. I said, and that's probably the reason he doesn't. But they're like, yeah, absolutely. So it was after, talking to them and asking questions and then presenting it and then having them talk to me, tell me back through a question, right? I asked them a question. Do you feel this is worth 20 grand? Do you feel the fact that the 20 grand is basically non-existent when you have the ability to build this relationship capital and meet people through the marketing that will end up growing your real estate business? And I had given all these examples. My point to this whole thing is, you guys, is that two things. I'm going to finish up with the next point. Is that number one, like I said in the beginning, we all, these people could have funded a week ago, right? But there's always objections. There's always questions. And we constantly have to continue to ask questions and not just tell facts and not just answer their questions and not just, we have to be willing to have conversations and build a relationship with them. If we truly want them to join the community, I think there's going to be a lot of value, and Scott is very, very interested in the marketing, and they have a huge pool of resource of people that need Renatus, right? So there's a larger vision than just these two enrolling, right? So to me, it was worth the time. It was worth the time to spend with them to engage them and get their objections overcome, right? Number two is, even the people that we believe are ready to go and everything, we've got to get to the bottom line as to why they're not. And I'll tell you, lastly, it comes to money. And it's not that they don't have it, but most people, you guys, if you think about it, they think of one way or two ways that they're going to fund it. And if the money isn't there, then they might not fund, right? They're like, oh, it's an objection. It's, well, I'm going to do it this way, or this is what I'm thinking, or, I'm waiting on this to happen or that to happen. And if we don't get that out of them, then we can't help them, right? And so what I mean is by this is there's this, Scott has a lease purchase that he's selling, and it was supposed to execute a while ago, and it didn't. And there's a considerable amount of equity in this property, and they have some plans for some of the money, and they have this tenant in there, and then and the tenant is on a lease option. So obviously they know what they're doing. They bought a house at some point, they kept it, they bought a new one, and they are debating on whether or not to, they sold it on a lease option, and they extended it already. And now the option is expiring in a month, and it's the best time of year to be selling a house in this price range, in this area is perfect. They can kill it. And they're debating on whether or not to extend it again. And then they have to wait more for their money. And they're hoping these guys execute so they can close on the end of March. And then from there, he can take the money and get into the education and do a few other things and start investing. And he's going to have this extra money. And so that's his plan, right? It's a good plan. There's nothing wrong with the plan. But what was interesting is if that didn't work out and they have to extend, then they have to get some money, and then they have to evict them. And what they're going to do is they're going to fix up the 3 bathrooms in the house, and then they're going to sell it for top dollar. So then they got to focus on that, and they got to work on that, and they got to put money towards that, right? So everybody, I don't care if it's $5 or 500,000. People always think about where their money is and where it's coming from. And I asked them, I said, well, Scott, and I don't know if Scott and Greg are going to partner, and we haven't figured that out yet. Greg's going to see the whole intro on Thursday. Greg has his money and is a little bit different situation than Scott is, and Scott is a little bit ahead of Greg on the path on the exposures to Renatus and so he hasn't made up his mind yet, I don't think. But Scott's made up his mind and ready to go, but he's debating on how he's going to fund it. And I asked him, I go, do you think it would benefit you to be already in the education when some of these things come to fruition? Or do you think like you should wait? Like, would you normally wait for things to line up, or do you consider other options? He's like, no, we always consider other options. I'm like, exactly. I go, most people don't necessarily sell a house or, have the money in their pocket. And most of the time, the place they think they could get the money is not where they get it from. Does that make sense? And he said, yeah. I said, you have your own primary residence that you're even considering selling given the market. I said, you've got equity in the property, right? He's like, yep. I said, you could use a HELOC to fund the education. And he's like, oh, I have a HELOC. He's like, well, we were considering using that to fix up the bathrooms. I said, well, imagine if you used your HELOC and got the education, and then when the lease option does go through, or even if it doesn't, then you could just replace the HELOC money with the money from the lease option or the sale of the house. And you don't have to wait to get started in meeting people in the education, meeting people in the community, and attending some events and expediting getting started on this real estate journey. So my point to this is, we started going through a few funding options, right? And the HELOC was one of them. And his credit is very good, right? And so he never considered those as options. They weren't things that he had thought about. And the thought is that we have a certain place where certain money sits and it's allocated for a certain thing. And that's the only option. So when people say, well, I'm going to take a little money here and a little money there, and that's like our general reaction is to be like, oh, that's cool. Okay, I'm going to count on that, right? But it's almost like no for an answer, because what happens, folks, is you got to remember is in 15, 20, 30, 40 days, things change. Like life literally changes on a dime. And money all of a sudden can easily be moved to another place. And that's why, Michael, all the leaders, you ask for the sale more than one time, right? And you get that order placed and you get the commitment and you keep providing value and you come up with multiple strategies so that if one changes, you can go to another. You have a backup plan. You're not only focused on one angel investor. You're focused on 3 angel investors. Who else? Oh, my mom can do it. I'm going to talk to my mom. I know she'll do this, right? No, that's awesome. I don't doubt it. That's cool. Have you ever borrowed money from anybody else before? Has anybody else ever helped you? Well, my Uncle Dave, but that was a long time ago. And that was when I was in high school and I needed to get some money for college. Oh, so Dave helped you with college, right? Well, yeah. So let's put Dave on the list. Would you consider, talking to Dave? You guys get my point, is that if we're so excited to take whatever they give us and accept that it's hard for us because we're nervous, because we're new to this, because it's money and we're taking it for somebody, that the minute they give us something of positive reaction and a good sign, we stop there. And it's okay. We got to recognize it. We got to repeat it. We've got to agree with it. And then we can provide another option, right? Let me ask you, have you thought about what if it doesn't sell? Like what if something comes up, and you have to, it takes, it's going to take you 30 days to fix this house, at least put in 3 bathrooms and all that. And then, what if you hit the summer and you're not getting the price and you may want to lease option it again, wouldn't you? Well, yeah, that would be an option. That would be I didn't ask him this. I'm just saying, I'm giving an example, right? What if it doesn't, so then what if you only get a $5,000 or $10,000 lease option again? What are you going to do for Renatus then? And getting started, you're going to go 3-4 months again without even getting the education that you want, that getting into this community. Maybe Greg's already started. Where do you see yourself? So do you think it would be worth it for us to explore a couple more options, right? So we can't just accept for the fact that, like I had one guy and he's getting funded and he'll probably fund before nationals. In fact, I know he'll fund before nationals. And he's buying a new house and selling his old house. And And right off the bat, his whole contingency is based on this house selling. And it's a long story. I'm not going to get into it, but the bottom line was I asked him, I go, what if your house doesn't sell for the price you want? I said, what if actually it takes you longer to sell your house than you think? What other options do you have? Like now you're going to own this house and you're going to own that house because he's not selling this one house, his first house to buy this other one. He's buying this other one first and then he's going to sell this primary. And I said, what if something doesn't close? What if something comes up major in the systems? What if there's a bad inspection? What if there's a bad appraisal? I started asking things that we don't normally think about, right? And I said, what's your backup plan for the funds? And he said, I've already gone to a couple loan officers. When I buy this house, I'm able to get a line of credit on the house, and then I'm paying that off. I'm paying off this debt, he has a banker that's already set him up with a line of credit based on his credit because his credit's really good. And so he had a backup plan. Like he has a plan. So it made me help moving forward with him and spending the time that I was spending, knowing that my whole Renatus enrollment with him is not based on one option of him funding. I'm not, you know what I mean? I've got it. And that's the thing, you guys, this is the stuff that real estate is made of. I have a company and it's called Creative Solutions Investments, right? It is literally being creative. It is literally thinking all the time on what is option. And how do we do that? We do that through questions. We have to do it through a thought process. So you guys, we have to be vetted. I guess I didn't talk a lot about the funding options today, like I thought it was. And I don't know if you guys want a training on that. Maybe I'll talk to Dane today and see and Michael and see if they want me to do it or if Michael, because Michael has a funding options webinar, you guys. So, and it's also in the follow-up. So my thought is I would train on actual real life follow-ups and we bring up the funds. And what I mean by that is, so what I want to finish with is this, is that if we're not able to have, like, if you haven't had this conversation before, then, okay. If you haven't had this this conversation before, or very often, or you don't think that you could have these kind of questions and in scenarios that come up, then we have to work on it, right? You have to role play it with somebody, your 5-star or one of your leaders. And then, maybe one of the things I believe you could do is look back at your own scenario and think about when you enrolled and what you were feeling and thinking and where you were going and how you were funding and what thoughts came up. I guess what I'm saying is, like, I've made a commitment. Michael made a commitment yesterday, a 30-day challenge. He calls it March Madness, right? And he's gonna enroll 20 combos in 30 days, and it's awesome. And he has a commitment to speak to people and to genuinely get to know them. Like, you've heard Michael talk about driving at 11 o'clock at night over to their house and opening up the back office and sharing them with them the velocity banking or the tax and legal, right? And when I was in Pittsburgh, we had a pretty intimate group. We had I think about a total of 9 people, and then on Saturday we had 2, 4, 6, 8 people, and 6 of them were guests, and I was committed to them personally, like learning about them, why they were there, what they were looking for, and then what their situation was. A guy named Melvin, really got to understand a little bit. Now we're going to follow up with Melvin tonight at 4 o'clock and really understand what they're thinking. So I guess what I'm saying is, like a teacher, if you have children, like a coach, if your kids play football or basketball or sports, a cheerleading coach, like an employee, if you're a boss of any kind, you get to understand the person because you're committed to that person, and you're going to be working with that person, or that person's going to be dealing with your child when you're not there. And so you get to know them. You get to know the reasons, and you're invested in that person. Here we have to do the same thing. We're not a number. there's a relationship that needs to be built. And so we have to be comfortable asking relationship type questions, getting to know these folks. And we don't spend a month doing it, but you spend a few hours. So it is, if we're not comfortable, you guys, if you haven't done this, it's okay. Then reach out to one of us, reach out to your 5-star, reach out to your leader above your 5-star, whatever it is, your pack member, your pit member in your area. Or literally talk to a friend. If you enrolled a friend, a colleague, if you've got a friend in the, talk about literally, like we role play in trainings, you guys, and it's tough because we're in front of everybody, we're nervous, and we don't really ask the real true questions. But if you want to role play, and I don't know what that means, but if you talk to someone that you know in Renatus and you guys really have a conversation as if you were trying to enroll that person, you're going to feel like what it feels like. I've been able to do 100 deals or more, as you guys know, right? Whatever the number is, 150 deals. Had a $74,000 month, made $160,000 last year in marketing, $250,000 in real estate or whatever it was, give or take, you guys, don't quote me. Do all these things, and I'm having a conversation with these two guys yesterday, and I don't feel like I'm above them, right? And I would think that in my mind, I'm thinking, why would you just, I'm out here looking at a property with a 6-figure plus return on investment, net profit. Wouldn't you just give me your 20 grand? Like, why don't you just say sign up right now, right? And although that thought was going through my mind, it's not the case, right? These guys legitimately have reasons and legitimate excuses why they don't need Renatus. They're doing real estate already. They've got the knowledge of the time. They've got resources of their own. They've done well. They've studied mindset. They've studied Grant Cardone. They've studied, read the books. They're there. They're right there. They're at a point where now they're networking. They're fixing to build their business, and they've got a vision and a desire and a goal, and they're not going to let it go. Like they're determined. They're outside of the box thinking firemen, and they broke that cycle of being a blue collar worker, and they're ready to go. And so my conviction and my belief that regardless of where they're at, for them to get where they really want to go and be able to retire, I had to dig deep for stories that made sense in the future for them. That tell stories about the community and not having to build their own relationships outside of the office of the fire hall and go find all the people, that the people are here, that Renatus is surrounding itself with educators and individuals that are so dynamic, all with a common goal, that was the value, right? So I had to be committed to that. And so it's important that we are committed, that you're committed to yourself first, as I said in the beginning, and that this conviction is 100%, and that this is who you are and what you do. And when you do that, you won't take no for an answer. You won't take what someone's telling you as face value. You'll dig a little deeper. You'll ask a few more questions, and you'll genuinely give a shit about who they are and what they're doing so that you can enroll them and move them forward. And I hope that makes sense. So Doug, thank you. Cecilia, yeah, Keely, okay, cool. Doug, awesome, your story, I appreciate it. Thanks, Keely. So that's it, you guys. That's what I had today. A little bit on follow-up, a little bit on the fact that whatever it is that you guys are going through or gone through, I can't imagine that, I know that the PAC members went through it before. I don't know that they go through it to this day. I don't have those conversations every day with them. I know some PIT members go through it. We have conversations every week, and all of us talk about how to improve ourselves so we can improve our territories and so we can improve the company overall. And we spend 15, 20 minutes every Thursday talking about that first and foremost. What can we do to help each other? What are you struggling with? What do you want working on? What's working for you, right? And then we talk about passing that along to the group and stuff like that and get training. So anyway, that's it. I wanted to share that with you guys and let you know, get committed to the nationals. And if you're already going to nationals, you guys, hell yeah, awesome, TNT. And then please make a commitment to invite one more person that you know that's in Renatus that's not going yet, and talk to someone. Make a commitment to invite somebody to a call. Invite them to Dane Clark tomorrow, or Michael Huggins next Monday, or me next Tuesday. Invite them to Thursday night. Invite them to the Super Saturday. Think of someone in your phone you haven't seen it at an event in a month or on a call, and ask them why. What's going on? And spend a little time with them, whether they're on your team or on your team's team or whatever it is, or they're just a friend in Renatus that you like. Or maybe you don't like them and you want to help someone you don't like, whatever the case is. Do something different today, you guys. Bobby, that's funny, right? So do something different. Make it a great Tuesday. Make it happen. You got my number. I'll put it in there. 760-533-3141. That's my number. Reach out to me if you have. Now remember, today, Tuesdays are tough sometimes because I got to feed my dogs, get ready, go to leadership. That's like 3 hours. And then I got 2 house appointments, and then I got 4 one-on-ones. So pretty packed day. So if you text me or call me today, I'll get back to you between now and tomorrow and all that stuff. But I'll get back to you when I'm on the road. I'll text and drive like I normally do. I'm kidding. I'll speak into the phone. But I love you guys. Have a great day. Make it a great day. Don't take no for an answer. Drive fast and take a lot of chances. That's what I say. Say yes till you say no later. Love you guys. Thanks for your time. I will end the meeting for all. And you guys are awesome.
I appreciate the reality pill.
What's that?
I appreciate the reality pill.
Awesome, LaShawn. You're very welcome. Whatever I can. It's all I know. I know how to train from experience, from the heart, and from what I care about every day. And that's what I try to bring to you guys, because I care about all you guys. I mean, I really do, and the team and Renatus as a whole. So yeah. And you know, honestly, guys, it stems from a selfishness from the very beginning, which is to better my family, to better my position, to retire early. And Bob's given me a vehicle to do that with. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the pack. I'm grateful for the leadership. I'm grateful for all of you. And then I have an opportunity to not only help myself, but simultaneously by helping others, I help myself. So it's super cool. So awesome, Sheena, Keely, thank you. Wiley, you're awesome. Sandra, feel free to text me and reach out to me. And you rock as well. Yvonne, beautiful. Thank you for coming out, LaShawn. I love you as always. And I'll see everybody at Nationals. I'll see you guys next Tuesday. I'll be on listening to Dane Clark in the morning. And I just am grateful every single one of you guys sticks around and listens to me talk. And it just brings a lot of value to me. So thanks. All right. You guys. Make it a great Tuesday. Yeah, go ahead, Tyrone.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for taking the time. Thank you.
Hey, brother, you broke up a little bit, but I think you said thank you for your time and thank you for the story today. I believe that's what you said, and let me know if that's correct because you broke up a little bit there, but you're absolutely welcome.
Thank you.
All right, man, no problem, man. Thank you for coming out. I appreciate it. I like listening to you. Anytime you guys speak, I love hearing it. Drive safe, my brother. Well, actually, drive fast, take chances. Just don't text and drive. All right, man. See you guys later. Love you guys. Have a great day. All right, everybody. I'll sign off.